Hey folks, Justin Marshall Riley, aka the Band Geek Dad here. So, the purpose of this video is to try to come up with some realistic goals to keep myself on track. As I have mentioned before in an earlier video, my goal this year is to essentially double the size of my catalog. Right now I have 3 pieces available for purchase on JW Pepper. I want to try to get at least 6 out available this year in 2025. So put 3 more out this year. I think I can do more than that. So I have a stretch goal of quite a bit more than that. I have a stretch goal of 6. But the more I think about it, the more I think that may not be realistic given the fact that I do work a full-time job outside of the music industry. And of course, I'm a dad and a husband. So that takes precedent over any musical things that I might do. So we're going to do just a little experiment here today. One of the projects that I'm working on is arranging a piece, an orchestral work for band. This piece uses traditional orchestral instrumentation. It's a 4-movement work, and I'm actually only going to be doing one of the 4 movements this year. This particular one is 21 pages long just for this one movement. So that's all I plan to do this year. The first step to making an arrangement for band from an orchestral work is copying the orchestral score to your music notation software, which in my case is Musescore 4. This is the first page, and you can see it's chock full of notes. I'm going to time myself today to see how long it takes for me to copy one full page of this, and I'm just going to start with page 1. Then I can reverse engineer and say, okay, based on how long this took me today, how long is it going to take me just to copy the rest of this score? So let's get started and see how long it takes me to copy page 1 of this piece into Musescore 4. You might notice that I sound a little bit different if you're listening on headphones. It's because I had to unplug my mic because I need all 4 USB jacks for this project, and the microphone would have required a 5th one, but that's okay because I'm really not going to be doing a whole lot of talking. This is going to be a time-elapsed thing. You can see that the piece that I'm working on is a piece by Samuel Coleridge Taylor. The English version of that would be Nanette's Whim. It's Caprice de Nanette from his Petite Suite de Concert. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner here, I've got my stopwatch. So I'm going to get that started, and we're going to see how long this is going to take. Let's see how I do with violas in alto clef. And just like that, all of the notes for the strings have been entered for page 1, and that took me 7 minutes, just shy of 7 minutes. I'm going to let the timer run while I talk here. Now I'm going to add articulations and dynamics. So I'm going to go ahead and start copying everything else. It's going to be a little tedious, but let's get started again. This is why it's important to watch what you do once in a while, because I'm using the keyboard to select my note length and my piano keyboard to select pitch. And if you're not looking, you can get off real fast, and that costs you some time. So here we go. We're going to have to do this one again. I am noticing that this is getting easier with every one of these I do because it's so homophonic, and there is so much doubling here. I'm starting to get the hang of it and get the rhythm, and it's happening faster. Okay, so as you can see here, my score says clarinet in B flat. As far as I know, that's what Musescore offers for clarinets. It's clarinets in B flat. But if you take a look at my score, we've got clarinets in A. So I'll be transposing from clarinets in A to clarinets in B flat. Let's hope I can figure this out, folks. I'm going to start the timer back up again. Okay, I'm going to come back to the clarinets in just a few minutes. I'm going to skip to something I know because I don't want to waste any time. I just want to make sure that I'm researching transpositions for clarinets in A. So I'm going to skip ahead to bassoons now. All right, we're at 26 minutes and we're more than halfway done with this page, which is probably one of the more difficult pages I'm going to imagine here, just because of all the notes that are in it, and there's a bit of a learning curve. I am going to pause it while I try to determine how the trumpets in A and the clarinets in A need to be transposed to B flat. It looks like trumpet 1 has the melody, so we know that that's an E to a B. And in here, the trumpet in A goes from a G to a D. So we know it's probably the upper E that we're looking at here. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that, and we're going to keep going here. Okay, so what we can determine from this is that the trumpets and clarinets in B flat are written in the key of D major here, because the rest of the piece is all the concert pitch instruments are written in the key of C, or no key signature. So it's D major, and the ones here in the score, you can see it there, are written in E flat major. They're written a minor third up, it looks like. So that's what we can determine from this. So if I write everything, looks like a minor second lower from what's written, that should do the trick, because if you look at what I started with here, it's the trumpet notes are on a G and a D, the first two notes. And if we go over to what they are here, it's an F sharp and a C sharp. So if I write them down a half step, that should do the trick. And I'm hoping that that works for clarinets. Oh my gosh, we're almost done with this. Clarinets sound like they match just fine, so now we've got to figure out what to do with the horns. I'm going to pause the timer for just a moment here. Okay, stared at the score for a little while here today, and first of all, realize that the score actually does say horns in F. However, if you look at subsequent pages here, there's no key signature. So I presumed that it was in C, which I thought a little odd. So the composer has chosen to written the horn in F part without a key signature. So it's in the same key as the concert pitched instruments. If you have any insight as to why he did this and you know more than I do, please comment below so that you can help me out and help anybody else out who might have questions. So we're going to go ahead and go right back to our score here and hit start on the timer, and we're going to do the horn part. And I realize I have not done the last measure here yet, so I still need to do that. So that'll take a couple extra minutes as well. So I just entered the entire horn 1 and 2 line, but didn't have my notation software primed, so I have to do it again now. Oh, and I didn't restart my timer while I was doing that either, so it's kind of a wash anyway. All right, well, we're, let's say 34 or 35 minutes in, and I've got to do this last measure. Then I've got to do dynamics and artic, and then I'll be done with page 1. So let's see how quickly I can crank this out. I'm going to try to get everything done by 40 minutes. All right, we're at 40 minutes right now, and I'm going to add in some articulations. I've learned a few shortcuts over the years for getting articulations exactly how I want them. So hopefully this won't take too long. Well, 45 minutes, and we've got our entire first page done. There are a couple of things that I noticed in here with this score that I thought were really interesting. Number one, if you look up here with the first flute part, well, with all of these notes, these eighth notes here, they're all staccato, but the composer in his score does not notate the first flute part that way. Interesting. Not sure if that's a typo or if that's intentional for some reason. I'm leaving it as staccato. I'm choosing it to make it uniform. I don't see a reason why he would want to have that note slightly longer than the rest, especially since the piccolo is indeed staccato in the score. But yeah, really interesting stuff here. I love how composers from this time period really like to use... They're getting more bold with using the winds and brass for color reasons. The strings do most of the heavy lifting still during the late 1800s, early 1900s, but you see a lot more color being added to the winds and percussion and brass, which I think is kind of cool. So we've got 45 minutes to do one page, and there are 21 pages in this. So total number of minutes, or total number of minutes for one page times 21 pages is 945 minutes divided by 60. That's the number of hours it's probably going to take me, I would say maximum, just to get the score copied. So if I do an hour a day, I could probably get it done in 15 days, 2 weeks maybe. I'm going to plan on trying to get this done in 3 weeks, though, and see how that works. I will be out of the country for a week here in January, so I'm hoping by the end of January I can have this done, and then I can start the actual arranging. Well, I guess that's all I've got here for today. I appreciate you tuning in and watching here. If you'd like to get more updates on what I'm up to here over at Band Geek Dad, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can always be kept up to date. And I'll be posting updates as far as what's going on with Nanette's Whim, also known as Le Caprice de Nanette by Samuel Coleridge Taylor, among other things and other projects that I'll be working on here in 2025. Appreciate you coming along with me for the journey. God's blessings to you now and always. Take care.